Dear students, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Arafat mujeeb from FEI Higher Secondary Institute. Dear students, today I am in chapter number 5. Chapter is our environment. In this chapter, my topics are today acid rain and ozone depletion. How these takes place? These takes place, of course, by the activities of human beings. Today is remarked out in causing the destruction in our environment. Here is the environment change due to the extraordinary activities of human beings is highly involved out and marked out in the in any disruption towards the environment. Now our topic towards is the acid rain. How acid rain take place? Acid rain क्या होता है? Whenever there is a rainfall as a precipitation and it containing acids, containing acids. What acids usually? It contains the nitric acid, it contains the sulfuric acid. In the acid rain, these are the following acids. Nitric acid is caused because of their contribution of nitrogen oxides, or nitrogen oxides contribution in the formation of acid rain is the percentage, that is 60% to 70%. जो nitric acid बनता है which is present in rain, that is the acid rain, its contribution is of 60% to 70%. That of the sulfuric acid, it is because of the nitrous oxide, that is the nitrogen oxides, and its contribution is usually 30 to 40%, 30% to 40%. It causes 30 and 40% acid rain due to the sulfuric acid and because of the release of the sulfur, oxides of sulfur. How the acid rain takes place? What are the sources of these acids? How its formation takes place? How in a rainfall, how in any precipitation there is the presence of acids. Let us start that. We can say because of the burning of the fossil fuels, because of burning of fossil fuels, it contributes to the formation of nitrous oxide, sulfurous oxide, and there is also the natural cause, that is the forest fire. Sometimes forest fire takes place here. Sometimes there is the forest fire. Then is the volcanic eruption. There is. Then there is the industries and factories जो run होता है because of the coal is burning in them as the source of heat and light in factories and industries. जिनसे बहुत smoke निकलता है, and that smoke contains the oxides of nitrous. They contain the oxides of nitrogen and oxides of the sulfur. And there is also the vehicles exhaust, उनसे भी बहुत सारे oxides, खासतौर oxides of sulfur निकलते हैं, which goes into the atmosphere. That means here these are the following factors, sources where there is a generation of oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, oxides of carbon, which goes into the upper atmosphere. Then it dissolves with the water vapors in the atmosphere में, troposphere में ये चीज acid बनता है, acid formation, and there with the rain that contains the acid, that is known as the acid rain. That as the fossil fuel, when there is a burning of fossil fuels in factories, industries, in a domestic way we utilize this. Then there is a formation of usually जो fossil fuels में अगर हम बात करने गई हुई burn, it releases the nitrogen oxides, and when there is a forest fire there is a release of carbon dioxide gas, sulfur dioxide gas, nitrogen oxides, volcanic eruption से भी निकलता है सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड और सल्फर we can say sulfur trioxide. वॉल्कन इंडस्ट्रियल फैक्ट्रीज में जो रन होते हैं वहाँ से जो उनके चिमनी से स्मोक निकलता है, गैसेस एग्जॉस्ट निकलता है, they also contain that to some extent, to some proportion contain the oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen which leads into the atmosphere and causing the acid rain. हमने देखा कि जो भी developed countries है which have large growth, large scale of industries and factories, those developed countries are responsible in causing the acid rain takes place there. Then there is the adverse impacts of the acid rain on the non-living components and as well as the living components of the environment. Acid rain how takes place? If we take the source, ये मैंने कल भी बताया, तो वहाँ पे हमारा वीडियो जो है वो कट हो गया, तो यहाँ पे आई विल कंटिन्यू इट हियर. सोर्स से इज द सोर्स, इस सोर्स में नाइट्रोजन भी है, सल्फर भी है, इस सोर्स में कार्बन भी है. व्हेन इट स्टार्ट्स बर्निंग, व्हेन इट्स यूटिलाइजेशन टेक्स प्लेस, इट रिलीजेस इन द एटमॉस्फेयर, इट स्टार्ट्स टू रिलीज इन द एटमॉस्फेयर, इट स्टार्ट्स टू रिलीज द नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन के ये सोर्स. जब इसमें नाइट्रोजन भी है, सल्फर भी है, कार्बन भी है, automatically there could be the formation of nitrous oxides, nitrogen oxides. And when the sulfur here burns it from by the source, also there is a formation of nitrogen dioxide or nitrogen trioxide. Also here is the formation of the carbon dioxide when carbon burns in the presence of oxygen. तो मैंने इससे पहले बहुत सारे फैक्टर, बहुत सारे सोर्सेस बताए, तो जिनमें अलग अलग कंपोनेंट्स when they burn they gives off these oxides. And you believe that in the atmosphere there is the water vapor, there is also the water vapors, there is water vapors in condensed in form. When there is a nitrogen oxides, when there are the nitrogen oxides of nitrogen, it combines with the water, there is a formation of the nitric acid. Here is the nitric oxide formation. इसी तरह से जो SO3 है, सल्फर, ये वाटर वेपर्स के साथ बना सकते हैं सल्फ्यूरस एसिड. Here is the, if there is the extra presence of sulfur, then it changes to sulfate, it combines with water, it gives the H2SO4. वो यहाँ पे एसिड्स बने, sulfuric acid, sulfurous acid, nitric acid. Often if there is the presence of carbon dioxide, it combines with the water, it gives the formation of the carbonic acid, H2CO3. It gives the formation of the carbonic acid here. So various acids formation takes place here. Various acids formation takes place. These acids then with the help of rain, they goes down. When there is a formation of sulfuric acid, nitric acid, so on the land surface, it is the land surface. On the land surface there is a precipitation, and when there is a high accumulation of there is a high accumulation in the atmosphere of sulfuric acid, there is the nitric acid, and with the rain they comes down here. It comes down with the precipitation, with the rainfall, with the rains, it comes down, these take down. And on the land surface there is a percolation, there is a seepage of these acids, seepage, percolation of, and then our groundwater is contaminated. Groundwater जो होता है वो contaminate होता है. When there is a flow of, when there is a flash of water, then here this acid rain find their way into the water bodies. Here it is the water bodies. Here it goes to the water bodies. Here in these acids then have a runoff. They wash down to the water bodies. Here the water bodies are also polluted. The acid rain है, it first coined this term first coined by the Robert August August in 1872 में. इसने first they noticed that acid rain take place, and this term first coined by the Robert August in 1872 की बात हम कर लेंगे. Also the groundwater is contaminated when their percolation takes place of the water, and there is a runoff, wash off of these acids to the water bodies. Also the water bodies is polluted, and also there is a vegetation cover. They are also affected by the acid rain. If there is, then it is the acid rain, and it also damages the vegetation cover, and there is also the monumental buildings. They are also affected. What are the effects of the acid rain? When there is a formation of the acids, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and aqueous in state, then they pour down to the earth's surface. When it pour down to the earth's surface with the rain, it is known as the wet deposition of the acids. It is known as wet deposition of acids. Acids are highly seen where there is a high traffic movement. There is a traffic movement. There is a high industries areas में हमने देखा कि there is a chances of the formation of acid rains. Now, what are the various effects associated with the acid rains? What various effects are? अगर हम बात कर लेंगे effects, it has environmental effects as well. Acid rain हम कहते हैं जो marble containing monuments होते हैं, वो क्या होते हैं? they are corroded. वो खराब हो जाते हैं. corroded, वो खराब हो जाते हैं क्योंकि एसिड्स के साथ जब भी सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड जो मार्बल होता है, ये कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट होता है, तो इसके साथ मिक्स अप करके एक डिसॉल्व्ड सब्सटेंसेस बनाते हैं. और ये चीज जो होते हैं, जो अलग अलग कंट्रीज का अलग अलग स्टेटस होता है, अलग अलग शान होती है, जो एंशिएंट मोनूमेंट्स होते हैं, लाइक द ताजमहल इन इंडिया, दैट द स्टैच्यू ऑफ द लिबर्टी इन न्यूयॉर्क, उन मोनूमेंट्स को वो दिन ब दिन टाइमली डिग्रेड होते हैं, उनमें डलनेस आ जाती है. दे आर कोरेडेड. उनका जो सुपरफिशियल लेयर होती है वो कोरेड होते हैं. व्हेन देयर इज द प्रेजेंस ऑफ मॉइस्चर एसिड्स in the atmosphere. Also, it has been seen that it also affect due to the acid rain के कारण क्या होता है, जो माइक्रोब्स होते हैं, माइक्रोबल कम्युनिटी जो होती है, माइक्रोबल कम्युनिटी इन सॉइल वो क्या होती है, वो अफेक्टेड होते हैं. दे आर अफेक्टेड. माइक्रोबल कम्युनिटी due to the acid rain are affected. That means terrestrial ecosystem is disrupted. और हमने कहा, और थर्ड पार्ट जो है, अगर एसिड रेन हो और उसका pH जो है that is less than pH इसका less than 5, then it can affect the phytoplankton. It affects the phytoplankton in water bodies. Thus it will, or when the phytoplanktons are affected in water bodies, if the acid rain is pH less than 5, then it is proved that aquatic food chain is disrupted. Aquatic food chain जो होती है वो disrupted होती है. Aquatic food chain is disrupted. और नताइज क्या निकलता है? There is ecological ecological imbalance. There is ecological imbalance. Ecological imbalance is an observation. Also, it has been seen that in the aquatic ecosystem, the fishes, the molluscus, and we can say the arthropods are majorly affected by the acid rain. These aquatic mode of life are affected, and इनमें देखा गया due to the presence of due to the acid rain which start accumulating in the aquatic body, जो fish they affect the reproductive system in fish. acid rain के कारण अगर aquatic bodies में acid rain के कारण जो फिश होते हैं, फिश पॉपुलेशन होती है, उनमें क्या होता है, उनमें इफेक्ट आ जाती है, अफेक्टेड रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम, उनका जो रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम होता है वो अफेक्ट होते हैं fish due to the acid rain in the water bodies. And there is also the damage to the vegetation cover due to the acid rain. There is a damage to the agriculture. जो हम मान लीजिए ये यहाँ पे आया आपको फोर्थ पॉइंट, डैमेज टू द एग्रीकल्चर कवर. जो हमारा एग्रीकल्चर होता है उसका जो फोलेज होता है, जो लीफ पार्ट होता है, उसका हम कहेंगे फोलेज मीन्स leaves are affected by the contamination of acid rains. And also due to the acid rain, the soil increases is just acidic nature. वो सॉइल क्या बन जाती है, सॉइल में एसिडिक नेचर बनता है, soil becomes acidic in nature. Then chances of soil acidity increase. This is all about the concept of the acid rain. What are its environmental effect? And तो यहाँ पे हम आज इस कॉन्सेप्ट में पढ़ेंगे ओजोन layer depletion. The important question as per the examination is concerned. 1 minute, I will take the minute. जो ओजोन लेयर जो होता है, यस, ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीशन. पहले तो ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीशन से पहले हाउ ओजोन फॉर्मेशन takes place. It takes place in the stratosphere in the atmosphere, है ना, in the atmosphere there is a stratosphere. There is a formation of the ozone formation, हम उसको कहते हैं. फिर वहां से एक लेयर आती है, थिक लेयर आती है, उसको हम कहते हैं ओजोनोस्फीयर. तो ओजोनोस्फीयर जो है, ओजोनोस्फीयर is a part of stratosphere. Where ozonosphere, there is thickness in ozone. Ozone consists of oxygen 3 molecules. It consists of oxygen 3 molecules, ozone. So now, how ozone formation takes place? You say that in the stratosphere we have ultraviolet radiations. These ultraviolet radiations, जिनको हम कहते हैं UV radiations, approximate of the range of 242 nanometer. If these ultraviolet radiations and they travels with the range of less than 242 nanometer nm, and this range of this range of ultraviolet radiations are absorbed by the molecules of oxygen molecules. यहाँ देखिए how ozone formation takes place. There is the absorption of these UV radiations. When there is the absorption of these UV radiations, which is range is less than 242 nanometer, यहाँ पे क्या होता है, oxygen molecules start to observe these ultraviolet radiations having this range, and they travel short wavelength. They travels with short wavelengths. These are radiations of short wavelengths. They are absorbed by the oxygen molecules in the stratosphere. When they absorb the radiations with certain range of wavelength, then there is a splitting of this molecule. After absorption, this oxygen molecule in the stratosphere, which is in gaseous state, they split into two atoms of oxygen. Then this oxygen here, यहाँ पे दिखाता हूँ, then this oxygen, atomic oxygen, combines with this molecule, oxygen molecule. They give the formation of here O3, ozone layer, O3. Or it also absorbs the ultraviolet radiations of certain ranges. Then here is a formation of ozone molecule. How ozone molecule formation? First, the oxygen molecule, after absorption, low range of ultraviolet radiations split into oxygen atoms. We split here oxygen in atomic form. Then this atomic form of oxygen then again combines with other oxygen molecule. Here is the formation of ozone molecule. Then here in this way there is again the absorption of ultraviolet radiations above this nanometer, above its range. Here is the absorption. तो हम इस चीज को कहते हैं हम फोटो, यहाँ पे जो होगा ये, इसको हम कहते हैं photolytic due to the light, photolytic decomposition. Here take place the here photolytic decomposition takes place with the oxygen molecule. Here we obtain the oxygen atoms, then later on this atomic form of oxygen combines with oxygen molecule. Here is the formation of the in this way the ozone layer formation takes place in the stratosphere because of when there is the absorption of ultraviolet radiations, hence they don't reach to the earth's surface. Therefore the earth's living creature are being protected by the ozone layer. It forms an ozone shield, where there is due to the thickness in the ozone, they help us in the absorption of ultraviolet radiations of various ranges. Then they don't allow the ultraviolet radiations to reach to the earth's surface. Hence our ozone layer is protective in nature. It protects the living beings on the surface of earth. How it is depletion takes place now? It is due to the human activities. There is a release of the organic compounds. Those organic compounds are chlorinated organic compounds, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. They are non-biodegradable in nature, and when they release, they are gaseous in state. When they are released into the atmosphere, it has been proved that it causes the destruction in the ozone layer. It makes the ozone layer thick to thin. It thins the ozone layer. Then there is a percolation of the ultraviolet radiations and reach to the earth's surface. This causes the destruction. When ozone layer is destruction, it works like the umbrella which protects us by rain to get wet. In the same way, ozone layer protects us by the UV radiations. How it is important, now we should protect them. Therefore now due to the human activities, the CFCs which are used in the refrigerators, air conditioners, coolants, in the propellants, in the we can say aerosol spraying and क्लीनिंग सॉल्वेंट में ऐसा ये कंपाउंड इस्तेमाल होता है। जब इसकी एग्जॉशन होती है, जब ये निकलता है बाहर, तो इट गोस रीच इनटू द इट इज एक्यूमुलेशन टेक्स प्लेस इन द स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर इन द एटमॉस्फेयर वेयर इट कंटेन्स द क्लोरीन मॉलिक्यूल्स। द क्लोरीन मॉलिक्यूल actually causes destruction in the ozone layer by having a chain reaction in the ozone layer. Then there is the destruction of the ozone because of the presence of CFCs. So how ozone layer is depleted? It is due to the human activities that we use the organic compound CFCs, carbon chlorofluoro, that is fluorocarbons. This compound contains the chlorine molecule. It contains the chlorine molecule. When this compound reaches to the atmosphere, when its accumulation starts taking place in the stratosphere, the chlorine molecules convert into the nascent chlorine. Then it is a radical form of chlorine, Cl. In the same way, in this form it obtains, it is released by this compound, and it is released, it converts with oxygen, then it changes into in this state. इस स्टेट में ये स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर में आता। जब इन दो रेडिकल स्टेट में ये आया, जब ये इन दो स्टेट्स में आया क्लोरीन, then this chlorine combines with this oxygen, ozone, and it causes the destruction in the ozone. It causes the depletion, destruction in the ozone layer. That means ozone layer जो थे it undergoes, it is thinning, ये पतला हो जाता है। Then there is the filtration of, then there take place the filtration of ultraviolet radiations. जो हमारे पास अब those ultraviolet radiations which reaches to the earth's surface, and it is of a range, इसका जो रेंज रहता है that is 290 to 320 नैनोमीटर तक ये अर्थ सरफेस तक आता है, अर्थ सरफेस। अगर 5% ओजोन क्या होता है, डिक्रीज हो जाता है, इट डिक्रीज, तो 10% चांसेस होता है filtration of ultraviolet radiations to reach the earth's surface, and it causes both the environmental problem and it causes the environmental problems as the living beings, and mostly the living beings are affected by the depletion of the ozone layer. ये कहा जाता है one radical form of chlorine, destruct the 100,000 molecules of ozone, then by performing the chain reaction. Hence by seeing the 1980s में हमने क्या देखा, 1980s में हमने देखा है holes in ozone layer in Antarctica region में, हमने देखा, it is the coldest place where the scientists take the observation. तो नताइज क्या निकला, CFCs compounds are highly involved in causing the destruction, in causing the thinning and holes in the ozone layer. There is a heavy flow of the ultraviolet radiations. When ultraviolet radiations reaches to the earth's surface, it causes the adverse effects to the environment. Here, due to the exposure of number one, due to the exposure of ultraviolet radiations के कारण क्या होता है, there take place the cataract, eye disease, cataract in eyes becomes foggy, and plus there is a chances of continuous exposure of ultraviolet radiations, there is a chance of skin cancer and cataract. It is first effect to the living creatures survive on the surface of the earth, and it is also seen that it inhibits rate of photosynthesis. It inhibits the rate of photosynthesis